evening from December to December, before you drift to sleep upon your cot, think back to all the tales that you remember of Camelot, Camelot, my boy. Ask every person if they've heard the story, and tell it loud and clear if they have not. That once there was a fleeting wisp of glory called Camelot, Camelot, my boy. How's that? I am singing from the Merry Widow, not in tune. But if you like the song, I will sing it for you. And do-do-do-do-do, and I am through.
What did one Camelot say to the other Camelot? Happy 60th anniversary.
I dated someone, and we went to Cape May, and we went to this lighthouse. It was Dave number 2, and he was using an old video camera, like a really huge, old, bulky one, and I was really impressed because it was like a TV camera. The end of story. There's no story. We went to the lighthouse, and we went to the old village, and then we went to the World War II lookout, and all the famous sites of Cape May. The end, and then we broke up. That's it. Here's our obligatory tourist shot of the Cape May Lighthouse, which costs $8 to get to the top.
Emily, do you want to get right in front of me, block my way so we can photograph you? Could you please walk in front of me again? I feel it's great to get everyone together, and I've never been to Cape May, and it's beautiful, and I feel like having the Kadnoffs here reminds me of when we were at the Grand Motor Inn and we always got together. How's that?
Peggy, are you going to get the SpongeBob popsicle?
No. Hold on.
I don't even
I'm not filming you.
SpongeBob is.
My biggest regret?
Yeah.
I would say that I didn't travel more. I would have loved to travel the world. Oh yes, of course, the Alaska trip. Well, the whole trip was planned. It was a lot of togetherness. That must have been the downside. A lot of togetherness, but the great thing was seeing us, seeing a whole country. And traveling, I've always been frustrated I haven't traveled enough. In fact, on that trip which he denies, he was ready to turn around after week 1.
Really?
And go home.
Oh, wow.
He really was.
I deny that. That is mistaken.
And he's agreeable. He's very agreeable.
Hey.
My biggest regret is that I didn't know my grandson Alex for a longer period of time. My favorite memory of the last 50 years or 60 years. Let's think of that one. It's not on, is it? We'll turn it off for a minute while I think of that. Yeah, that's a good idea. The favorite memory is the Alaska trips. I took 4 girls, and we went west. We stopped in Wyoming at the Tetons for 2 weeks. And then we went on to Seattle, and then we took a ship up the inland waterway all the way to Haines. No, it was Haines Junction. No, Haines. And then we traveled all the way up to Haines Junction and into Alaska, and up as far north, just north of Fairbanks, and then back to where that ship went, spilled everything in the Adriatic, in the sea.
What advice would you give yourself 60 years ago?
Well, get out of the law business.
Oh.
Obviously.
What about your marriage? About the?
I wouldn't do that. I would probably tell everybody about that story of the man who had his 50th anniversary. But everybody's heard that story.
Does that story also apply to 60 years, or is it?
Oh no, my goodness, no.
Oh.
They wouldn't put me in jail for 60 years. My favorite characteristic?
Yeah.
She's a good-looking babe. Nana is a good-looking broad.
You were so lucky you found somebody who would stick with you for 60 years. Remember that.
Congratulations, Bob and Leba Grudinsky. I do not think I'd be able to stand 60 years with my wife. Thanks especially to Bob for reducing climate change by 12% by keeping the heat so low. And Michelle appreciates your effort to eat healthy foods like wheat germ and oatmeal. Leba, we loved your garden design so much that we modeled the White House flower beds after yours on Mill Road. Bob, I'd also appreciate some advice in stock investing. I need a few $1 trillion to pay for Obamacare.
Here, and Carol.
I have not a favorite memory. They're all bad memories. Well, actually, I might find one or two. Very, very helpful, loving, warm. Believe it or not, your grandfather could be nice when he wants to. I think it's wonderful that they've been able to survive each other for 60 years. I'm looking forward to the next 55, just like they're looking forward to the next 60.
My favorite memory is every Christmas I would go to Philadelphia to Bob and Leba's to celebrate Christmas.
Oh, that's it, because that's the last
They
Or
were
you
the
mean
only
Hanukkah?
Jewish family
Years ago.
I knew of
Many years
that
ago.
celebrated Christmas complete with a Christmas tree and Bob dressed up as Santa Claus. And then he also walked around the house imitating Winston Churchill as Santa Claus.
That's really funny.
For days on end.
Just laughing about things with both Leba and Bob is my best visual memory. Completely disoriented from having been in the ocean for about an hour. I love the fact that I can make them laugh and vice versa. And I also like their generous hospitality and their interest in people. Leba, it's perfect. I can't think of anything to change. Bob, I would like to buy him a new pair of shoes.
They got married.
They got married, and what do you like to do with them?
Hug them.
What else?
Sing him Jeff Davis.
Uh-huh.
Go for walks.
My earliest memory, well, I was scared as heck of Grandpa. Grandpa would make fun of me all the time, and he had that really loud voice, so I didn't like him when I was little. Every time I fell, he would say, "Is the stair hurt?" And then I'd start crying even harder. It didn't seem funny back then. And Nana, I think all my earliest memories were probably up in Virgins, back when Great Nana was alive, too. My favorite memories are really of them, of calling them up every week and listening to the two of them banter on the other end of the phone, hearing half the conversation. Whatever I say to one gets repeated and critiqued by the others. So I always enjoy that. And then I enjoy the flip side when they are, every once in a while you'll actually catch Grandpa singing and Nana will sing with him or correct the lyrics. That happened on a recent visit and I got a kick out of that. I don't get to see them sing together that often. That was fun. My favorite character is, oh boy, he's listening now. Now I really have to say something nice, like his hair.
Oh yeah, I'm in agreement with her.
When my father used to constantly, when he was mad at my mother, would say, Leba, I'm right here. You don't need to yell, which would of course get my mother even madder. And I remember one incident where she actually threw a little dish at him and it hit the wall behind his head. And it was pretty scary. But my earliest memory of my father is probably doing father-daughter walks. We used to always go for walks with him, which was always really nice. My mother probably doing, her teaching us how to cook and bake in the kitchen, and weed, which I didn't like so much. They are definitely a yin and yang kind of couple. I think for both of them, it's that they really fostered independence and they made us feel like we were capable of doing things on our own. They didn't baby us. And that, that made you want to live up to that. So I think they made us into very independent people.
I remember while filming Rear Window, back in 1954, my assistant came up to me one day and said with the most grim look on her face, "He got married." I was devastated. Ever since I met Bob Gradinsky, even though it was a double date and he wasn't even my date, I always regretted never getting to know him better. he told the funniest joke I had ever heard. Something about Harry Truman, FDR, and Woodrow Wilson being on a boat, and the boat went down. Who was saved? The country. That is so funny. I could have heard that 1,000 times and still laughed.
Am I in the shot all
Your
right?
head is cut off.
Really?
Yeah.
How about now? Okay, well, a lot of my early and best memories of Nana and Grandpa are definitely in Virgins. I have lots of memories of taking walks with them and having some of the same conversations many times. So I learned a lot about stocks. And so, yeah, Emily went to the Teddy Bear Factory. I usually went to Burlington. We went to a nice restaurant. And, yeah, I have a lot of good memories of eating at restaurants with Nana for some reason. Oh, I know, the Nova Scotia trip. The Nova Scotia trip was a blast with Nana. We had lots of good food, and and I went biking with Carolyn, and we went all over Nova Scotia. That was a lot of fun. And then with Grandpa, it's mainly taking walks and having very many interesting discussions.
That was absolutely terrible.
Somehow the conversation rolled along to the topic of the Kennedy family administrations, and nothing positive was said, I noticed, I observed, and Nana posited that in this family and house it's not sufficient to be indifferent to the Kennedys, you must actually actively hate them.
Every year, Nana would take me out for a special day, and I remember for several years, the special day would always be the same. I would love to go to the Bear Factory in Vermont and the Christmas store and Ben & Jerry's, and I would go there every year for years, and I didn't want to change, but Nana always said, yeah, that's fine, you can go there, whatever you want. And Grandpa, I remember having very deep discussions about things and stuff and the differences between them. And we also got married a few times and got divorced a few times. And now I don't know what our relationship is actually, but maybe we're married, maybe we're divorced. He keeps on saying he'll marry me when he grows up, but that hasn't happened yet, so I don't know.
I'd say my favorite memory of Mom is her ability to be incredibly neat and organized in a way that I have great admiration for, and I don't think I could ever do, although I try to emulate her. Dad is a born raconteur, and I've always loved to listen to his stories, even his jokes, which he's told a million times, but I still find them in some weird way continually funny.
Don't encourage him.
I also wanted to say one of my favorite childhood memories also was his playing the game Press Conference, which, as all of us know, the object of the game is somebody asks a political question, and the object of the game is to not answer the question, talk as long as you can without actually answering the question.
I remember Dad, you'd go like this and press his nose, and it would turn to the side, and he'd make a funny screwed up face, and then you'd press
this, and he'd go
the cheek, and so he made all these funny faces when we were kids. And Mom was game for anything, and she always let us explore anything we wanted and encouraged. She didn't force us into, you must play piano, or you must only do art. She let us explore whatever we felt like, and she let us explore it to the extent we felt like. She didn't, she wanted us to, if we started something, to finish it, but she let us do a lot of exploring of a lot of things. And she's very open and game to doing all kinds of things.
To parents, to Aunt Joan and Uncle Jerry, for a long and, as far as we know, happy marriage. We all aspire to the same. Also, thanks to everyone who helped do this and who made their journeys to come to Cape May, which wasn't always easy for everyone. We really, it wouldn't be the same without every single person here. So cheers. Leba's most serious failing. not turning off the stove, not turning off the lights, or using every dish in the kitchen to prepare a meal. What did Leba say her most serious failing was? Bob?
Well, I know it was the dishes.
Bingo! What did Leba say Bob's most uncouth mealtime behavior was? A, throwing napkins at the dinner table. B, sprinkling Kretschmer's wheat germ over everything. And C, mixing different cereals in one cereal box. Which did Leba say was the worst
Oh, I have to
of those
answer
three?
this?
You have to answer.
I answered the last one.
I know, but she already answered all of them.
You know that.
All right, the cereals and what's the other?
Throwing napkins at the dinner table.
Oh, the napkin deal.
You know your wife. What is the thing about Bob that Leba most admires? She said his left brain and all the things that go along with it. Now you have to say what you most admire about Leba.
Her right brain. Her right brain, she does 16 things at one time.
On my 16th birthday, Dad came home with a beautiful bouquet of flowers and said, "This is for you for your birthday." And I was floored. I couldn't believe my father was bringing home flowers. And so I said, "Mom, did you put him up to this?" And she said, "No, I had no idea." So then I called Leah and I said, "Did you tell my father to do this?" And she said, "Absolutely not.
That was the secretary.
I never find out why you did it." So when Peggy turned 16, I said, "You should get her flowers. That would be really nice." It really meant a lot. And he came home with a bouquet of flowers. I don't know if you remember this. And he gave them to Peggy and he said, "Les made me do that."
Yeah.
Dad, you have any words of wisdom?
Oh, for a long marriage? Get an air conditioner.
Right?
How about you, Jared?
Lose your hearing.
That's the end.
It's on the sound ramp street, down right beginning to the bottom of the sea. And I'm so listen to our tale of whoa! And he no! Giddy up! Pencil, Pennsylvania. Pencil, Pennsylvania. Oh, Pennsylvania. Hey!
Bob, I have watched you for years and years. I was always so impressed at your fine ability at washing the dishes. The Allied forces used the Grudinski method during the war, and we had the cleanest dishes in the entire British Empire. Congratulations on 60 years with your fine wife, Leba. I would like to dedicate this song to you. I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Pull out the stopper, we'll have a whopper. But get me to the church on time.